Okay, so I finally got around to installing the NES RGB into the test station. I had to have this adapter PCB special made to fit it, and even then I had to kind of chip off the corner to get it to slide down into the socket and not hit this piece. But I also wanted to move it back, so I had access to all the pins here. Once the front panel is slid onto this, a lot of this area is covered, so I wanted to move it back as well, and I did, probably about a half a chip worth there. So now it's more accessible if we ever need to get in there and do anything. But again, this is the PP was already socketed, so it's just pushed down into the socket. And I do have a piece of hot glue on this side as kind of a standoff. And then I've been working on my panel mount over here, and I'll show you that in a minute. The paint's still drying right now, but this is the first stage, and then we'll start putting a bit more pieces on here. And here's a look at the panel mount piece I made. This is just some scrap sheet metal I had laying around that I formed to semi-fit these standoffs that were already in the test station, just like what's over here. And I knew the switch, lever, and possibly the multi-out jack would stick out a little bit further than whatever I mounted it to, so I wanted it back just a little ways. So, and to get it to mount on the edge of the post, I had to bend it a certain way. So it's still recessed back into the hole a little ways there. Shouldn't be a big deal. So I'll put this together, get a better look at what's going on. Okay, that's with it fully mounted with the screws in there. From the side there will be almost no gap that you can see. You see my big paint chip there. I never claimed to be a painter. Not very well done paint wise, but it was more hours than I wanted to put into already, so I went ahead and stopped messing around with it. I guess the only thing I'm really left to concern about is to make sure that the SCART, or I guess I should say the multi-out head, doesn't hit this part. If it does, I'll have to move these holes and raise it a little bit. I think it'll be okay. And of course the top sits almost exactly flush across the top here, and should still have easy access with the finger to the switch. And when he doesn't want to use it, he can actually put the cover back on and cover it up completely. Same with up here. So now I can wire it up. Okay, so I'm all hooked up with RGB. I do have it on, and I am, let's see, I've got the palette switch off, and I am outputting composite and RF like it normally would. I can switch to a game. Composite and RF still work. And I can switch to RGB. Turn on palette. Hit reset. I have RGB. RF is kind of a black and white. And I can switch, let's see. I can switch palettes on the fly, but here we go. Play choice, improved, normal. And I was worried about the clearance of that head fitting, and it just touches, but it will go in there, so that was good. And obviously I was wrong about the top of the top piece being flush here, it's actually going to be way up here, which is quite a bit of a difference. So I'm going to go ahead and slide it back in there since it seems to be all operating correctly, and see what it looks like all put together. And there's with the outer case slid on. Go ahead and loosen these. That's how it's going to look, kind of hidden. It's not as easy as access to that switch as I was hoping for. But the bottom side is flush, so we won't have any problems getting the SCART cord in there. I think once the cord is plugged in, yeah, that's a tough fit for a finger, unfortunately. Luckily, changing the palette isn't something that people are going to do a lot anyway. Just the way this hole was laid out and everything, there wasn't a lot of options for placing that switch. So, unfortunately, that's going to have how it's going to have to be for now.